Just making sure again you can see my slideshow.
Yes, the High Scholar Initiative game October 5, 2024.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Faidat Badamasi. Very excited to be here. Very excited to host this session today. It's our third um, part of this series. And today we are talking about a very, very important topic. So if you're not here, if you're here, I would say you're very lucky. And if you know someone that should be here, I would say you should kind of let them know and have them jump on this session right now. Uh, so just like we always do, we always want to tell you more about iSI and tell you what we do. Our vision is really to build a younger and self-driven generation for future leadership, innovation, and overall development of Africa. And we have been on we've been on a mission since 2019, where we've been mentoring, empowering young African students in fulfilling their dreams to pursue graduate studies via access to fully funded scholarships in world-class universities across the world. And how do we do this? We provide support in different form, financial mentorship, just like you're here now. This is something we count as group mentoring because we're here to share knowledge with you and help you set you up for success as much as possible. And in iSI, we have amazing, amazing scholars. They are called I scholars. They are beneficiaries of this initiative. And as beneficiaries, they thought to give back sometime I think they released this book sometime in 2020 or 2021. They all came together and put out this book called Your Grad School Journey Compass, which is free. You can download it for free on our website. It's like a compass that should help you throughout the journey. It's designed to help prospective graduate school applicants navigate all the cardinals of graduate school admission process. So if this book has been useful for you, or if you started reading this book, I would say congratulations, and we cannot wait to celebrate your success story. Please share it with us, don't forget. And so this year, this fall, we started this game series. So game is graduate application mastery and excellence. We some of our scholars and our talent development team wanted to sort of reach out to as many people as possible out there, sharing different tips and tricks to craft a winning graduate school application. So that's why we started game series, and right now it's game 3. So if you're watching us on YouTube, so that you don't miss out whenever we have new sessions on game series, make sure you click the like and subscribe button on YouTube channel. If you subscribe to our channel, you will get a push notification whenever we go live and we have another game session. Today, we have an amazing, outstanding, I don't know, you guys should help me with some words in the chat to describe this speaker today. His name is Anya Nkadi, and if by any chance you've interacted or come across with Anya, you would know that he's an amazing and selfless individual who is willing to help as many people as possible achieve their goals and dreams. So Anya right now is a PhD candidate at the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at Louisiana State University Health Shreveport. He earned his bachelor's degree in microbiology from Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Nigeria. I'm sure some people in the chat would have started saying Great Ife. Well, so right now, Aniel studies how cellular tumor suppressor called the retinoblastoma protein is required for the replication of a tumor virus, Epstein-Barr virus. And an interesting fact about him, I've mentioned this before, and trust me, a lot of people can testify to this. He has an amazing passion for academia, for volunteering, for mentoring. He enjoys guiding, supporting upcoming scholars to achieve their full potential. So, trust me, we have the best person on the block to take us through this topic today. And so for our game three, we're discussing crafting a winning statement of purpose, right? You might have the CGPA, maybe 5.0 or 4.0, 7.0. You might have the best recommendation letters. You might have all of that, but can you truly tell your story? Can you tell them what you've achieved, why you should be selected, what you will contribute? Can you put it in words and communicate that with your potential grad school application reviewers? So that's what Anya is going to be taking us through today. So I would say grab your notebook or notepad and pen because it's going to be a really, really educative one. Anya, you have the floor. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, good day, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to the scholarship board, Scholar Initiative, for the opportunity. And I also want to thank Ms. Faidat for the introduction. I want to thank God also for the opportunity. And then I want to thank everybody that is present, both like presently in the chat and also on the YouTube channel for attendance. So I would just go straight to the point. And I'm going to share my screen because I have some slides prepared. You can always ask questions after the after the presentation, sort of. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Yep. Okay. Hope we can all see my screen. Yep. I guess we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So okay. So we are talking about SOP. So SOP is a what they call statement of purpose. It has many names, and I know one major question someone would ask is how is it different from motivation letter, personal statement, and whatnot. Um, in my own experience, essays are just essays. It just depends on who is asking for it, and it depends on what they are asking for. Because if you try to differentiate them, it might not help you because there's honestly my own opinion, no difference. It depends on who is asking. So a personal statement can include parts of an SOP. An SOP can include parts of a personal statement. It depends on what the school wants you to put in that statement. Just know that statement of purpose, like I mean, to me is like an all-encompassing word that says this is the essay you want to present to a graduate school. This is the essay you want to write to a graduate school for admission or something like that. So I would start with what it is not. So what is the essay you're supposed to write to a graduate school asking them for a place? Oh, my name is Haniel Nkadi. I want to be admitted for the computer science PhD program at Harvard or at school, you understand. So it's number one, it's not a comp. I'm going to still expatiate on these points later on in the slides, but I want you to remember that your statement of purpose or the essay you're writing to the school is not a compendium of every sad story in your life. So many people have the habit. I review SOPs a lot, so I know how these things work. So many people have the habit of saying, the saddest things in their life. And I mean, it's not. That's not the point. The point of an essay is not for me to cry. Usually it's not even really sad because like you understand. So the point is not for you to express, oh, this is what happened to me when I was small. I didn't have teeth until like I didn't have my 32 my teeth was not complete till I was 18. Things like nobody cares, trust me. Then second one is it's not a chance to tell us how vast your vocabulary is. Most of you writing statement of purpose, you would have written GRE and you would have learned words from Norman Word Power Made Easy, ETS books, Magoosh, Manhattan, and so on and so forth. So there is no, it's not, the essay is not an opportunity to practice GRE words. It's not an opportunity to start, using grammar up and down, but we'll get there. Number three is not a primary school essay. Sentence structure is something that people read, but they might not really pick it as a sentence structure. But you are, do not forget the audience you are writing to. You are writing to a learned audience. You're not writing to people who are not learned. I would say that. You understand? You're not writing to the layman, right? You are writing to a learned audience. So your diction should be proper. Your diction should be proper. The use of your words. The way you structure your essay, your sentence structure should not be, you know, too elementary. You understand? Your sentence structure should show that, oh, you've passed through the four walls of a college or a university. So I've seen a lot of that actually. What happens to such essays is it gets really boring when you are reading. It's like I don't know, most of us would know what Queen Premier is. Yeah, it's like me picking up Queen Premier and I sit down with it and I'm like, um, um, the sun goes up goes the sun, something like that. It's boring. It's going to be very boring to me. I might force myself to read it, but trust me, I'm not going to get the gist out of it because it's super boring to me. So your sentence structure and it should not be super elementary. You're not writing to people who, you're writing to a learned audience. Always remember that part. Um, your statement of purpose is also not your CV. So many people have the habit of repeating every thing in their CV, verbatim, like straight on, like you just add sentences to it. So the education part of your CV, you run it, and then the work experiences, you just list it like that. No, that's the point of the essay is not to repeat your CV. They're going to have your CV and they should have your essay. It should not, it should not be like side by side, look at them and they look the same. No, it should not be like that. Then number is it number five? Whatever number it is, it's not a chance for you to speak ill about your origin. There's something about patriotism and trust me, human beings like count it really well. If you can speak ill about the place you come from, just give it time. You would speak ill of the place you are going to. So like I've seen a lot in SOPs, right? So it's not a chance for you to speak ill of where you are coming from. You understand? Of course, every origin has their own challenges. That's not your problem. You understand? That's not your problem. You're not coming to a PhD program to solve the problems of a nation. No. Uh-huh. That is not your calling, right? Then your statement of purpose is not where you should be lying. The thing is, people lie in their SOPs, and something about lies is you have to be very good at it to escape. You have to be super good at it because when you lie, you have to be very coherent with it. Like it has to be very, very you have to plan it. It has to be something that you plan. It's not something that you don't just wake up and start lying in your SOP. No, you don't. Just in case you want to it has to be planned. And the thing about planning it is if you plan it, it's still going to be a lie. So a very smart person will be able to tell that this is a lie. Something about lying in your essays or lying in whatever you're submitting to a grad school is, if it is spotted, you are honestly not going to get that spot. Because if you can lie to get in, you have to lie to get out. You understand? So research is not something that they take, honesty as is a big deal in research, it's a big deal in academia. So if you're lying to start, like it makes no sense to pick you. Like even if your GPA is 5.5 over 5. If I see lie in your SOP or I see like plagiarism, you copy paste, I see different, font sizes. I mean, trust me, nothing will make me say yes to your admission. Like if I'm the admission committee and that's just me, like it's just normal. Like if I just spot it, that's all. And I'll not even give you a reason why, because you should know what you did. So it's not a spot where you start lying. Many people lie the lie I've seen, you just lie in your SOP. It's not that is not what you are to do. You are supposed to be as honest as possible. You are supposed to be as critical as possible. Be critical of your own experiences. Be critical of whatever you are submitting. That is the best SOP you can have. So I'm going to go to okay, so I'm going to go to what a good statement of purpose must be. Number one, it must be clear. So, like I said before, many people have the habit of communicating with, with so much, words that cannot be, you are not clear. So there is a difference between saying, I want to eat yam versus I'm hungry today and I looked around. I looked around for what to eat and I saw a particular structure, a carbohydrate that looks like potatoes. However, it's not a potato. However, a potato is very related to this particular carbohydrate, but then I do not think it's a four-letter worded. Um, you are beating around the bush and you're not being clear. I want to eat yam. It's as simple as that. I'm applying to the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at LSU HS for this purpose. For this purpose, you are being clear. So something about your SOPs. Your SOP is like an interview, and most of you might not have a chance to have an interview with the faculty. So they might not have the chance to meet with you one-on-one. So your SOP is like an interview. It's more like this is you in written form. So whatever time you have, if I'm speaking to you and I ask you, what do you want from me? Whatever time you have, I say, oh, you have only 10 minutes to say this. There's no need beating around the bush and not being clear what you want or not be clear what you want to do. No, go straight to the point. That is what a good SOP would be. It has to be very clear. If your SOP does not have clarity in it, if I read your SOP, or anybody reads your SOP, and they cannot point out what exactly this individual need from me, like that is not a good SOP. It has to be clear. People think hiding your intent between sentence structures, hiding your intent between grammar, hiding that is not what makes a good SOP. A good SOP must be clear. That is communication. Do you understand? So communication loss is not actually communication. And some people really start well in their SOPs, but then with time they get lost in, vain ramblings and all and all. You understand? So a good SOP must be what? Must be very, very clear. Secondly, it must be very specific. This is the major issue I've had with SOPs I've seen in my entire life. Most of them are not specific, and that is why a good review is good. Whenever you finish writing an SOP, ask someone for a review because we're not all perfect. So you only get better. You understand? So one major mistake that applicants make is their SOPs are not specific. I remember that was last month. Someone sent me his SOP. I can't know if I don't remember if it's a he or a she, but the name is like a unisex kind of name, so I can't remember. But the SOP was sent to me, and then I reviewed the SOP. What I told this individual was this SOP is not specific. For example, if I want to get married to a lady and I meet her and I go talk to her, and I'm like, and then she goes, okay, so of all the ladies, why did you pick me? And then I go, oh, because you're a woman. Okay, okay, like how does that make any sense? It does not make any sense. I know to you it does not make any sense. Like it's you have to be specific. Oh, I picked you because I want to spend my life with a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. Oh, I picked you because you are beautiful. Not just beautiful, I picked you because of this. You are giving her specific reasons why you picked her of every lady in the world or every lady around you. Same with SOP. You are communicating why you want something, why you want a particular program, why you want a particular school. It means that you must address your SOP to that particular program, to that particular school. So what people do is, and I see it a lot, the mistake some people make is you kind of have a general SOP that is structured. I don't have any problem with that. But make sure that when you make the edits, let's say you're applying to 3 schools, for example, and then you structure your SOP such that you have an introduction, a middle paragraph that talks about your experiences, be it academic or your research experiences, and then the third paragraph talking about the program you're applying to, professors you want to work with, yeah, and why you chose that school. Fine. You see that third paragraph that you're talking about being specific. You have to be very specific. One major thing people write about when they're talking about specificity of a program, they usually say stuff like that the school has, there's this word they use, something, is it high-end facilities, or there's this word they use like wonderful facility, like they use this word to classify the research facilities that are in the school. Trust me, like every school has good facilities. You understand? Every school has good facilities. My primary school should have good facilities. You understand? So that is not actually specific. That is not specific, in my own opinion. It is not. And I remember when the person I was just talking about, when I told the person, this your SOP is not specific to any school. I know you wrote a school's name there, but trust me, it's not specific to anybody, right? The person went ahead to submit the essay, corrected every part, every other part without correcting that part. The school sent the SOP back, and the school was telling the person that the SOP was not specific to them. And I'm like, okay, so it sometimes it looks like um these things we are saying are just ramblings, but it's true. If you write me an essay, I would know if it was specific for me. If you write me a birthday message, I would know if it was specific for me. If you write me a Happy New Year message, I will know if it was, you see forwarded 20 times. I would know. You understand? So you have to be very specific with the program you are applying to. You have to be specific with the people you are applying to. That is the faculty. You have to be specific with the place. And you can only be specific. You can only be this specific if you do your homework. That is, if you go and look up the school, if you go and look up the program. For example, a good specificity would be, let me say something non-specific would be, I'm applying to Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center because it has good research facilities. That is extremely non-specific. Versus looking at the faculty at the school, I can see that there is let me say, okay, looking at the structure of the graduate school or the microbiology department at LSUHS, I can see that research is translational, meaning that it translates from the lab to the bedside. Also due to the close proximity of so health center next to the school, I believe that my research, you see how specific you are. Somebody really need to be like, oh, this person already knows that we have a hospital by the side. This person already knows that we have this by the side. You understand? Or I'm applying to the University of so because I checked, and this university is the only university that has an electron microscope in the south side of the US. That is already telling them you know about them. That is already telling them that you are not just, it's not the same SOP you are applying to like three other schools. It's telling them that you are being specific with them. So you have to be specific when writing your SOP. That is the only way you would communicate that you've done your homework. That is the only way you would communicate that you want to be with them. Because trust me, schools are not also good with rejections. They don't want to be rejected. Do you understand? So you have to be very specific with that. The next thing is be personal. Yes. So many people write SOPs like you are writing in someone else's voice or writing in someone else's tone. You have to be yourself when you're writing your SOP. And another thing people make is they try to use samples. Using samples will not help you be yourself. Using samples will rob you of that energy or will rob you of that little spice. You know how you're cooking spag and you just drop the last thing, or you're cooking rice, you just draw soup or something, you drop the last something. That last stuff you drop, that's the spice to you, right? So if you are using samples from everybody, you ask for sample from Adekunle, ask for sample from Kayode, ask for sample from Emeka and then from Kabiru, you would be immersed in other people's words. You will be immersed in other people's thinking. Like, for example, I've seen SOPs. One major introduction I've seen in my life is antibiotic resistance. In 2050, antibiotic resistance is supposed to kill so number of people. Like, is that the only introduction possible to mankind? Like, what of genetics? What of like, there are many things. Oh, you just see introductions that are so cliche, and I do not have any problem with you using those introductions. But the point is, the people reading your SOP will also read other SOPs. You see antibiotic resistance, always, always, always. And the funny thing with the antibiotic resistance is the same story. It's just the same story. So what does it mean? It means that people are not really having their own thoughts. Because I believe that two people cannot think alike. You cannot just be thinking alike. If you are not personal with your SOP, it gives the impression that you are not thinking. And as a scientist or for whoever wants to go to grad school, that is the primary thing you must be doing, in my own opinion. So it means that your SOP has to be very personal. Put in effort, put in work, put in thoughts. You have a cliche introduction of waterborne diseases would kill so number of people, or cardiovascular diseases at the top, that is number one disease in the world. It is there is statistics that proves that it's going to kill so number of people, and that is why I want to study heart blah 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 conditions as a PhD program, blah 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 blah. versus whenever I noticed during my study that whenever we discuss atherosclerotic plaques, we only talk about the arteries and we never talk about the veins. Looking at this, when I looked at the veins and the structure of the veins, I could notice that the inherent structure of the veins preclude plaques from forming, or preclude, like, the biological structure of that vessel precludes plaques from forming in a statistically significant way with respect to its, to the other arteries. I'm making it up, but as you can see, this introduction is different. It's not something many people have heard. That would give your audience, it to tell them, guy, lock in. You understand? Instead of antibiotic resistance is supposed to kill that, like, sometimes I don't know how to just tell people it don't do. There will be drugs you understand? Just calm down. Look for something else. So because many people look for samples on and on, that is why they are not themselves. They do not put in any thoughts. You talk about genetics, and the major thing people talk about is like cancer and something like that. Like, you can bring up many things. For example, viruses are the central dogma of biology has been broken down by viruses, because viruses can actually perform reverse transcription, right? That is from RNA to DNA, right? But however, I read in a paper that there is such a thing like reverse translation, that is from protein to RNA. That is a good introduction for your essay. But you can never get a good introduction if you are using sample from different people up and down. Think about your essay, sit down, look for a good introduction, an introduction that reflects that somebody thinks. Look for a good introduction that reflects that somebody reads. That is how you get a good introduction. The next one is, lots of time. Oh, God help me. Let's go. It must be simple. Like I already said this, I must not pick up a dictionary at every point. It is with my most us it is with most humility that at this auspicious moment that I am submitting an application vehemently to a PhD program so alluring, with so much vast pulchritude all over the US. Nobody cares about those things. Like, nobody cares. Trust me. I've seen a lot. And it robs you of communication. It robs you of everything you are trying to communicate in the program. Like, the person reading it would, nobody wants to be picking an essay and be checking the dictionary all the time. Nobody wants to do that. I don't want to do that. And what other thing about being simple, not just the dictionary part now, is some people tend to use their essay as an avenue to write another scientific paper. Trust me, the professors reviewing your essays read scientific paper all their life. Give them an opportunity to read something else. You cannot write your essay and all your essay will be filled with all the numbers of the statistical results you got in your undergraduate program. We studied the metal abundance in the soil in Obafemi Awolowo University, and we found that the following metals: copper, aluminum, platinum, you list like 20 metals, have relative abundances of 21.42, this 0.49, this in your SOP. Like, who has the time to be reading 24.42, this 0.49? Nobody cares about those things. Like, have a very good, like, for your research experience, establish what you did, the major method you used to do it, and the overarching theme of your results. That's all. Metals were too much in the soil, and this posed a great health threat to the cattle that were grazing near the area. That is all you have to say. You don't need to include all the numbers, all the details. Details can get really boring, and it can make your essay lose focus. You understand? Because usually when you are now done with that thing, you now enter the next line. You now do like somebody from 1980. Furthermore, you understand? Furthermore, what? Furthermore from 22.4. What is furthermore in? You understand? So the point is, when you are not simple in your essay, you're not really communicating. Be simple. Whenever you read your essay, you should be able to determine, oh, this paragraph communicates this idea, this paragraph communicates this idea, this paragraph communicates this idea. That is what an essay should be like. You understand? And also, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. The next thing is detailed, exactly. So why I put these two together is so that we can explain it together, right? So there is a thin line between being simple and being too simple. For example, you don't just say, so during my NYSC program, what is NYSC? Like, what is NYSC? You understand? Oh, during my study at OAU, what is OAU? What study? So versus during my undergraduate study at Obafemiolo, at the Department of Obafemiolo, Department of Microbiology and Immunology, Obafemiolo University, Nigeria. That is you being detailed. These are the details that count. Some details really count because it gives your reader or your audience an orientation. It gives your audience something to work with. Oh, this person did, oh, bachelor's degree. Oh, Department of Microbiology and Immunology. Oh, Obafemiolo University. Oh, this school is in Nigeria. Oh, doing my master's degree at Benin Republic. Oh, the guy now left Nigeria, now went to Benin Republic to do a master's. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. That's nice. You understand? So there must be, you must find that thin line between being simple and being detailed. There are some details that are needed. Do not forget, the audience you are writing to might not be Nigerians. Don't forget that part. So if you say something like during my NYSC, me, I understand. I understand perfectly what NYSC is. You right? I understand perfectly. But you can't, if I'm from this, if I'm from this side of the world, you can't be telling me during my NYSC. What is NYSC? Like it makes no sense to me. So you have to be cognizant of the fact that your audience might not have the same orientation as you. You understand? You can put in things like location, not being too much. No one put the street name. No. Location, full meaning of something, especially when you first mention it. If you mention OAU the first time, you can put Obafemi Awolowo University in bracket OAU. Then after that, you cannot be using OAU if you want to. She understands. So you have to have those little details to orient your audience. An essay should be something that should be enjoyed. When I read the work of people, like I'm like, this guy they write, like this guy they write. You understand? There's one lady's essay I read the other day and I was like, forget. If I'm even this thing, I'll just give you admission like that. Just collect. You understand? Because some essays are really, this person put in work, this person put in effort. The next thing is being positive. Being positive. The last essay I read, that was last week. So bad news. How the they did not have school fees to pay starting. Um, it's not needed. It's not needed. It's not. Of course, that can be your motivation for grad school. I don't have any problem with that. It's possible that, oh, my parents died of a particular disease, and that is what prompted me to study this disease. That's fine. And it is fine to include that. Maybe put it somewhere. That's fine. But making your whole essay to reflect only that thing makes no sense to me. Move on. Move on. That is the point. The point is, oh, my dad died of cancer, my mom died of cancer. No, Allah. We My condolences, fine, no problem. But what? You move on. Your essay is not supposed to bring a party to you to tell you sorry and give you handkerchiefs. That's not what your essay is supposed to do for you. Your essay is supposed to communicate to a graduate school that you want to be in their program. So adding all the sad details of your entire life does not help. It even communicates to them that you are not mentally fit to be in the program, in case you don't know. So the point is, try and make sure your essay stays positive. That is the point. Make sure your essay stays positive. Many things happen to many people. We don't just go ahead and start writing it in all our essays. Imagine I'm writing a paper to submit to a journal, and I put there that when I was writing this paper, my girlfriend broke up with me, and I was so tired of life. You understand? And then, would you want to read that? Do you think that is necessary? You understand? So the point is, you have to be very positive. Be very positive with your approach in everything you are saying. If that is your motivation, that's fine. You can include it once, in one place or something. That's fine. That's not a problem. Because some people, it's a very strong motivation for them. But make sure your essay does not have that sad, sad outlook that, oh, this thing has really scarred me. That, no. It even shows that you have not moved on. It shows that you're not mentally stable. It shows that you're not ready to be in a program. A PhD program or a master's program, a graduate program, it needs you to be at your best game. Always remember that part. So do not rob yourself of your chances before you get to see the chances at all. Do you understand? So next thing is direct. I think I've said this a lot. So you have to be direct because trust me, ramblings are not necessary. Like, go straight to the point. Be very direct with your approach, very direct with the things you say. Yep, be very, very direct. Then another thing is to be structured. Be very, very structured. Be very, very structured. So a paragraph is supposed to communicate an idea. Having a paragraph communicate 12 ideas does not make a sense to me, but that's to me though. Like, a paragraph should communicate an idea. This is my introduction. My introduction captures what's, what is occupying my thoughts. What is occupying my thoughts is reverse translation. What is occupying my thoughts is public health. And this particular topic or this particular scientific question is what is occupying my thoughts. Now, this is why I'm actually applying to this school, right? This is why I'm applying for grad school. That is the first paragraph. That is an idea communicated perfectly. Second paragraph, I'm communicating that I'm not coming from elementary school. I've been trained to an extent. I've been trained at OAU. I've been trained at Ibadan. I've been trained at Benin Republic. I've been trained at blah, blah, blah. I've been trained at this. I've done this research. I've submitted this paper. I've done this. I've done that. Oh, that has communicated. I am not coming as an empty head. My head is not empty. I am coming as someone that I have little experience. I have little experience, and I believe that you can make that better. That is what the second paragraph is communicating. Third paragraph. Third paragraph is communicating that this is exactly why I chose this school. I'm choosing this school because of the not just the research facilities, because it is translational. It has the best faculty. I've discussed with faculty A, I've discussed with faculty B, and I find their research really awesome. I'm choosing this school because the coursework outlines the fact that in my second year I'll have an opportunity to do an MBA included with my PhD program. That is something being specific about the school. Not all schools add MBA to your package. Do you understand? There's one other thing I saw. The one somebody said that the pinnacle of why he's applying for graduate school is because of funding. Like, when I saw that now, I was like, this cannot be the pinnacle of your reasons for applying for graduate school. Like, how will funding be the pinnacle of why you are applying for graduate school? Like, it does not make any sense. So for anybody that is trying to do that one, it's not a good thing. You understand? So make sure you know the reasons, and that's why at the end there's a book you should read that should tell you the main reasons that why you should be applying for graduate school. Of course, funding is a good reason, but that should not be science. Science is not money. Is the least thing people consider when they are talking about science. Money is the least. Money is not a big deal. Money is just for the science. You understand? Like, so far you're comfortable. That is, as a scientist, so far you're comfortable, you are good. You understand? So look, saying money is the pinnacle of why you are applying to a graduate school does not help. You understand? So be structured. And when I say be structured, also I mean you should also look at your sentence structures, look at your punctuations, be very good with your punctuations, avoid contractions. Like, instead of using it's, use it is, he is, I am. Don't use contractions, because your essays, some people consider it a semi-formal essays, but some other schools consider it a formal essay. So you don't want to be torn apart semi-formal or formal. So just write it in a formal way. So do not use contractions when you're writing your essays. Use good punctuations. Structure your essay very well. Then I think that's all. So the to-do list I have is you should read well, because you only write what is in your head. It is, and most of us struggle with introductions, not because introductions are they drop from heaven and then you catch them like revelation. No, that's not how introductions are written. Introductions are written through what you've read or your experiences. An experience can be literally, you've read something, you've read a particular field. If you know well about a particular field, you'll be able to identify a good introduction. If you read more of computer sciences, you'll be able to identify a good introduction. Example, a good introduction for computer science can be something like I've always laughed about the little distinction between bytes and bits. However, during a particular election, I found that that little distinction was able to tilt the poll in someone's favor. It was in the news. You understand? So that is a good introduction. That person doesn't even be like, wow, you're a bad boy. You understand? Something like the person will be like, good introduction. So your introduction is something that should capture your audience, should draw them closer, should make them lock in, should be like, oh, let me see what this person has to offer. You understand? It must not be catchy. Some people write some kind of dramatic introduction, like all those introduction that you be like lights off. That is not what the point is. The point is write a good introduction that would hold your audience onto what you want to say next. You understand? And remember when I said be structured, make sure that your paragraph, I know it's communicating a different idea, but look at it as a block of text, such that this block of text will kind of introduce the next block of text. Don't just be writing furthermore, although like only furthermore, like furthermore will just communicate something entirely different, something entirely far from what you said before, because you just added furthermore. You understand? Or moreover, or like make sure your sentences or your paragraph kind of in a way like pave way for the next paragraph. You understand? And you can also be chronological in your approach, such that instead of you writing your post school experience in a paragraph before your school experience paragraph, write the university experience first. Then after that, you now go to the experience after school, so that the person reading it will not get confused. It's sequential. So make sure you communicate properly, and so that when someone reads, person is not lost. That would help you a lot. Then the next thing I'll say is read grad school admission essay. It's a good book, but the problem many people have with this book is once they open the book, they look for samples, and that's the point. It will not help you. Read the book from the top down. Like read page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, like that. Don't just enter the book and start looking for samples. It does not help you. Then seek honest reviews from at most 2 people. Why I said at most, you can make 3 or 4, I don't know. But I tell people to limit the number of reviews they get from people. Look for 1 person, 2 people you trust. For the iSI scholars, you already have a mentor. That one is enough, and 1 other person, because when you have different people reviewing your SOP, 1 person will review it this way, the other person will review it the other way, and then you'll be torn between choices. You understand? I remember I reviewed 1 SOP for a particular individual. The person, because I don't review any SOP twice. The person now sent it back. I told him that I don't review SOPs twice, and the person was like, but the other person that reviewed said that this thing I said was not correct. I got pissed. I'm like, do whatever you need to do. Don't stress me. You understand? So that is what happens when you are giving multiple people your essays to review. Like, seek honest reviews. Reviews are not bad. Trust me. Even professors, after writing papers and they're writing grants, they tell their people to help them review it. They tell people in their school, they tell people in their department, they tell the chair of the department, they tell the grant office, help me review this grant. Does it make sense? Can it fly? So getting honest reviews is not bad. You understand? It's to show, oh, this is what I've written. What do you think? Do you think it has communicated my intent properly? You understand? When I say honest, I mean honest. Not people that will just tell you, oh wow, wonderful. Oh, you did so well. Oh my goodness. No, that's not the point. The point is for you to identify where you need to work on, for you to identify what you need to do next. So I think at this point, yeah, I can take questions. I'm done. Thank you.
You know, I don't know if I'll go and reapply to grad school so that all this I need to use all these tips because I think I went to open up my SOP and I'm like, did I use furthermore? What is furthermore? Oh my God, thank you so much, Anil. That was powerful. Or I don't know what you guys think, but can you just say something in the chat so Anil knows how amazing that session was? So thank you so much. So if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. If you're on YouTube, please post it in the live chat on YouTube. I've seen one. Oh, there are a couple on YouTube already. So Zoom people, you guys should post yours if you have any questions. But some comments so far, they said this session is raw. This is mind blowing. How can someone be intelligent and funny at the same time? What a presentation, So that is how much you have like communicated with us and I'm sure all these tips will be very, very useful for everyone here. So moving on to the first question. Um, well done, sir. How can I write SOP for studying a postgraduate course that is totally different from my undergraduate project? And before you answer, I would like this person to be specific because there are typically two cases where you studied something else, like your course in your undergraduate is different from what you're applying for. Or is it that your project in your undergraduate is different from the course you're applying for? So if you can be more specific, but Anya, if you want to take it.
Yeah, for this case, I'm going to answer from my experience. Someone might have a different answer, but this is just my opinion. It depends, like you said. There are some courses you can't go to easily. I'm just going to be honest. If you studied business and you want to go to the biological sciences, I don't see any safe trip for you. It's going to be a really bumpy ride. Because where does someone want to start from for you? Does he want to start from DNA? Or does he want to start from that magnesium is a metal or water is H2O? Like where do you want to start from? Versus someone that studied biology or studied chemistry and wants to go to business. That is honestly a safer trip. So some courses are really difficult. But what I tell people is if that is what you exactly want to do, you can seek help. What I tell people is things like this is not word of mouth. Look for someone that has done it before. That is the major advice I have to give. Look for some, LinkedIn is there. You understand? LinkedIn is there. Social media is there for that reason. Look for someone that has done it before. You understand? You can ask them, like, what did you do differently? One thing some of them might tell you is I took online courses. I took online courses. I attended social programs. So there are many things. I did research. You understand? I read these books. I did this. I did that. You understand? So there are many things you can do, but the best thing to do is to look for someone that has gone through that route, especially if you are going through a bumpy ride kind of transfer. You know what I mean? Something like from business to chemistry. Go easy. You understand? So yeah, so that is something. Versus you're going from chemistry to music. It's not that bad. You understand? Last we go and learn do re mi. You understand? Too bad like that. You get so
All right. Okay, thank you for that. So the next question is, well, this is common and you most likely have addressed it in the beginning, but what's the difference between a personal statement and statement of purpose?
Oh, like I said, my opinion, many people have a different opinion. Like I've been doing this for a long time. So many people have different opinions. People think personal statements is personal. SOP is more academic and something. But I believe it depends on the schools that's asking for it. Many schools ask for like you if you notice some schools ask you for your CV and some schools ask you for your resume. You understand? At your level, both of them should mean the same thing to you. It's after you are done with school, like you're not going into the workforce. Both things are now different. You understand? They are different things. You understand? So because CV is more, academic, is longer. That resume is really short.
Nǹkan tó bí ẹ ni ó ti
You
wà
understand? So,
excessively
so,
forward.
so the point is at your level, I believe, and that is just my opinion. I believe both of them should mean the same thing to you. And it depends on the school looking for it. Some schools will already tell you what to point out in each of the essay. So they're asking for a personal statement. They will tell you, write number one, why you are applying for grad school. Write number two, your motivation for applying for grad school. Write number three, why you chose grad school. Those things can be captured in what they call a motivation letter in other schools in the UK, right? Those things can be captured in what they call a personal statement in other schools and maybe in Qatar, in somewhere else. So it depends on the school asking for it. But like I said, your essay should, if they do not tell you what to put out, your essay should capture number one, who are you? Why are you applying to this grad school? Why of all grad school did you choose us? Why did you choose this department? What do you want to do? Which professor do you want to work with? Or which professors do you want to work with? After school, what will you most likely do? That is just it. That is what an essay for grad school should capture. Be it without those nomenclature in my head, it's just semantics. I mean, at this point, you understand. But remember, it's my own opinion, and I believe it to fly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I completely agree actually, because typically some people call it SOP, some people call it personal statement. Just look for, like, some schools will give you prompts of what they want to see in that document. So you can use prompts like that to put something together. And Anil just shared very useful prompts that if you've been finding it difficult to write your SOP, what you can do is just list out those questions and just answer those questions, then put them together after, and that's your first draft, then you start refining it. So it's the main thing is just getting started. So someone is asking, how many pages should an SOP be? Any advice on line spacing and font size?
Um, uh, font size, I recommend you use 12. I recommend you use Times New Roman as your font. Spacing, I think single or 1.5 will do. Um, single or 1.5 will do. About the size, I recommend your SOP should not be more than 2 pages. My own opinion. Some schools already give you a cap of 1,000 words. Some schools even tell you 500 words. See, the point of SOP is when you make it so long, number one, if I open, I review SOP well. If I open SOP and it's very long, if I don't have so much time in my hand, I'll close it. Or I might just review it. You understand? So it does not really help you for you to have so long SOPs, you understand? Because number one, it also gives you that temptation of rambling. Keep your SOP summarized, direct, straight to the point. 1,000 words is fine. Recently, anybody that asked me for an SOP review, I usually tell them, make sure it's not more than 1,000 words. In fact, let it be less than 1,000 words. So I'm expecting 999 words, including everything included. You understand? So make sure your SOP is, and please make sure your SOP is justified. All your paragraphs should be justified. That is another mistake people make. You write SOP and the lines are not aligning at the end. Like it should align. You should justify paragraphs. You understand? And the funny thing I have with these people is when you check their CV, you'll be seeing soft skills, Microsoft Word. Soft skill, Microsoft Word, but cannot justify your paragraphs. So what are you saying? Like, it makes no sense to me. But your soft skill is Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, the full office. But your paragraphs are not justified. Your title is not centralized, it's on the side. Like, these are the things that would add structure. So for words, you have to I tell people like 1,000 words is good, or 2 pages. Sometimes the school will tell you exactly what is the limit, and you have to follow that limit. Some people try not to follow the limit. Some people will say the title is different from the essay. If they say 1,000 words, it includes everything in the essay. If you meet somebody like me, if you reach 1,001 words, I will discard it. Me, I will not look at it. I'm just telling you, if you meet somebody like me, because that time is not there. If you cannot follow instructions now, who knows if I tell you to put something, you not set the lab on fire. You understand? So the point is follow instructions, keep your essay very direct and very summarized, and I believe you'll be fine. Then font size 12. I think single spacing or spacing of 1.5 will apply. Font size, do not be graphical with your font type. It's not, you're not doing a graffiti, you're not painting, not be artwork they do. Like Times New Roman is fine. You understand? It does not Times New Roman is fine. It's a good font for you to use for official settings. Yep. Okay. I wanted to just quickly answer this question I can see on my screen. The person is asking if the title on SOP is compulsory. It's not. But this is why I tell people to add it. I tell people to usually add just their name is fine, or just their name is fine. Just their name. Do you know why? Because sometimes when you submit your SOP, you know how you submit something to a site, and when the person on the other end downloads it, it might not download it with the name you submitted it with. It means it can download it as the name of the file will be file 08. If it says file 08 and it gets lost who submitted that thing, it will not be well, you understand? But even if it downloads as file 08 or file 05 and your name is there, they'll be able to say, oh, this is your SOP. She understand. Don't not forget that people reviewing SOP are human beings. They can also get tired. You understand? So let's say they download like 5 files at once, and file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. And your name, your own is the file 3, right? And it's not your name that is there. They can confuse it for someone else. I just tell people it's just good to play safe. Like just put your name. That's all. Your name is in center. Then you just write your essay. That's fine. It does not. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have more questions on YouTube, and you've given so much insight, and thank you for answering all questions with so much details. So someone is asking, writing a statement of purpose for my master's program without publishing any research work in a journal as a chemistry student has been my big worry. How can I undo this?
Well, it has to be a worry. I like to be very sincere with people. So usually people who have not gone through a graduate program before are not necessarily, will I say, they do not have that pressure on them to have a paper published. But if you've gone through the rigors of a graduate program before, there's a pressure on you that you should have at least, even if it's a review, you should have a review published. So it means that one answer to what you just asked is publish a review. So even some people finish their PhD program without having a primary, like a first author paper. They only have a review, right? Or a second author paper, and that's still fine, right? But if you've gone through a graduate program before, that is a master's program, they'll be looking for at least a paper, like a written your contribution to science. Yeah, they're looking for your contribution to science. Let's say you publish on a method, you publish on primary research on a mechanism or so on and so forth. For some reasons you don't have that, there's nothing wrong with finding a review. You understand? There should be something, at least publications that, oh, I, Haniel and Kadi, I've added to the body of science, you understand? So just if it's a review, you can publish it. It would help because, to be honest, there will be a pressure to look for if you've published before. That one is for sure because you've done a master's.
Thank you so much. We still have more questions popping up on YouTube. So someone is, I guess you've addressed this, so I'll just read it out and move on to the next question. What's your opinion, sir, about a strong closing for a standard SOP? Should I move on?
Closing. Anyhow you want to close it is fine. Shall close it. So the point is, like, some people have different closings. Like, oh, there's some closings I actually like. All those closings that end with "glad to see you soon" or "I'm hoping for a favorite response" or something. Those are good closings. They're just close it. You can. I don't. There's no particular answer to that question. The closing does not really. It's your closing, sha. So sha close it in the way you want to close it. You understand? Don't just be rude about it and say something like, "If you don't admit me, thunder will fire you," or something like that. You understand? So just close it in a way. Some people close it with I also want to have an opportunity to experience the culture of the University of Utah or New Orleans. Also experience fall, spring, and also see the mountains. If there are mountains in those areas, I've heard of the mountain, blah blah blah. I also want to do that, and I hope I'll see them someday. That's a good closing. You understand? So you just, you could just find way closer, may just sweet, may soft. You understand? So that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to take just two more questions because our time contract is kind of
Okay.
up.
Okay.
So someone is asking, what are you've addressed this, I believe. What are the elements you recommend to be included in the first paragraph? There's a lot of opinion on what should be included.
Oh, your first paragraph is your introduction. One thing people do, like I just remembered, let your first paragraph not have two long sentences. Like what I mean is those sentences where you don't breathe, don't put that in your first paragraph. One sentence will be 3 lines, skinny. You understand? So your first paragraph should ease your reader into what you want. Your first paragraph should introduce you, should introduce your thoughts, should introduce why exactly you are coming to grad school. You understand? For example, let me say I'm applying for mechanical engineering. I don't know. I don't know much about mechanical engineering. Let me say I'm applying for economics, for example. Imagine your introduction to be some people introduction will be that the GDP of Nigeria is so, the GDP of South Africa is so. All those ones, they boring. Imagine saying something like, the major question most economics like myself find fascinating is if the why can't the country print more currencies? That's a major question that even me, I've asked an economics before. Like, if we're saying that the country is dying, like we are poor, print more currencies, you understand? And then but the answers to these questions are honestly have honestly been phased out to be not so true, something like that. That is you easing into a particular field of thought on, the world of economics. And then you say something like, then you from there you can say something like, but then looking at economics as a whole, the major reason why we do research is to find out why these questions are, and how exactly to answer them. And that is why I've chosen to have a research career in the field of monetary policies. Boom, you're done. Introduction don't set. Now start cooking. You understand? So the point is that introduction is you are trying to introduce a field of thought, the field of thought that would inform in the latter paragraphs. It will inform why you chose those two professors. For example, Professor A is now working on currency exchange, something, something, something. Professor B is now working on this thing, this thing. Imagine you now finish cooking that that something up there, and then the professors you now put in your latter paragraphs, they are not doing anything related to monetary policy. They're not doing anything related to money or anything. You've cooked nonsense. Do you understand? So the point is your introduction should capture what that's why it's an introduction. Introduction should capture whatever would line the entire of your essay. It should capture that field of thought that is informing your application to a particular school. It should capture that field of thought that is talking about your application to a particular program. You should capture that field of thought that is telling you that these are the professors I want to work with. So that is your introduction. How you want to craft it is left to you. You understand? That's why I don't like giving anybody samples. It is your own thing. Read and you'll be able to craft your introduction. If you don't read, you will write antimicrobial resistance and it will not fly well. So
True.
that's the answer, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anil. So one final question. Let's see. Um, I'd just like us to address this one. Can an outstanding professor in the field of my study in a grad school be my reason for applying to that particular school?
An outstanding professor.
In like just one professor, you're after one professor in
Listen,
one school.
you win Nobel Prize, ni?
Can that be the only reason you apply to that particular
No, it does not make any sense. So what
doesn't?
if something happens to the professor? What will happen? You will not leave? No, no. Your motivation should come from within. Grad school is tough. Oh. If the professor says he's not coming to school that day, you will not come. Sure, it's grad school is tough. Your motivation must be from within. Something some people do not know is people reading your essays do not only look for how good you are academically, they also try to find hints of how rugged you can be, of how stable you can be, because grad school is tough. She understands. So if they already have a sense that this person now mental health go they shout, they will not they will not the chance that they will get you is low. They want to people when reading your essay, I tell people if I'm reading your essay, tone is there. If you check Grammarly has you hear tone, and it's a big deal. Like your tone, it says a lot about who you are. You understand? It says a lot about your this thing. So applying to a particular school, a program because of one person, I don't advise it. I don't think it's a good motivation, to be honest. If anything happens, if the person changes school, or changes research, what will happen? She understand. Another thing sorry about, I just wanted to add, make sure your interest, well, they should have covered this, but make sure your interest is not extremely specific. For example, you're saying that you want to study monetary policies with only Qatar, let's say Naira and dollar. You're already making it so specific. Monetary policy is fine. You must not add Naira and dollar. What if the person you're working with is doing CDs and pounds? She understand. So I know you get. I know it might not be a thing. I'm not an economist, but I know you get the drill. So try and stay. You are finding that middle line from not being so specific and not being so simple. She understand. So find that middle line. But for the answer to that question, no, it's not a good motivation to apply because of one person. It does not help you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anil. Because we are actually out of time now. There are more questions, but sorry, we cannot take those questions anymore. We just want to say thank you so much for giving us your time, sharing from your experiences and just tutoring us, walking us through crafting a winning statement of purpose. On behalf of iScholar Initiative, we want to say thank you again. And maybe I didn't mention it. Aniel is also an iScholar. He's a 2020 iScholar. Am I correct, Aniel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he's also a 2020 iScholar. So thank you so much, Aniel. Thank you everyone for staying with us. We are very glad that you found this session very insightful, and we hope that you will take all the tips from here, because sometimes we inundate ourselves with attending programs, sessions that we do not actually work on the things that we've learned. So we hope that you would actually work on these things that you've learned and you'll be able to craft an amazing SOP. So don't be too scared to write your SOP. You just need to get started. Just start with anything at all. Some people, they would record themselves and say everything that they would want to, like, they could, and then listen to that voice note and write something out. So there are different strategies to it. So make sure, and Aniel said it a lot, and that's something I also do. Apart from SOP, even while in grad school, you apply for stuff. Try to always write first before looking for samples. Because sometimes when you look for samples, you are going to limit yourself to what those samples look like. Let's say you might even write better than whatever is in those samples. So try to always write first before looking for samples or looking at samples at all. So with this, we're going to close out now. We wish everyone the best. Thank you so much for staying with us for more than 60 minutes. And thank you again, Aniel. Can see that you're in the lab. You can, yeah, thank you for giving us your time. So